respected guest speaker, Bala sir, directors, faculties and on and off the dais, and all the student managers of Sri Balaji Society. Good morning to one and all. I, on behalf of Balaji Institute of International Business, feel highly privileged to introduce to you all a highly experienced and esteemed speaker, Mr. Ashish Shah. Sir is the head human resource of ETG Agri Commodity and Finance. Sir is a BSc graduate in finance from KJ Somaiya College and did his MBA in HR specialization from ITM Mumbai. Sir has a generalized profile with 20 years of experience in HR function. The key strengths being HR system and process implementation, HR team development, talent acquisitions, learning and development, competence assessment and development, performance assessment, total reward pay, compensation management, and international HRM. Sir started his career in Transworld Group of Companies, Mumbai, headed Pan-India HR function. Sir joined the company as assistant manager and left as general manager after his decade's tenure. Sir then switched over to Asian Heart Hospital, Mumbai, as head human resource. Sir won the Best Team Award for developing HR function with a new team of 6 executives within 6 months. Sir then left for overseas opportunity at ETG Africa as head HR in 2011 and is working there till the present day. ETG Agri Commodity and Finance is a leading global agri-commodity business house headquartered at Tanzania, Africa. It is one of the leading suppliers of African agricultural products to the world. ETG strives to play a key role in enhancing the continent's growth through the global marketing of its locally produced commodities. Sir's major contributions to the company being assessing performance through executive assessments, significant cost saving and standardization of accommodation at Tanzania, launching and implementing global employee referral incentive scheme, and many more. Now, I would like to invite Mr. Ashish Shah to enlighten us with his words of wisdom. Sir, the podium is all yours. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, a very, very late good morning and good afternoon to everybody. I am grateful to be here on the dais today. Okay, fine, friends. I think we are slotting 60 minutes for this program. And I've been told that there are a lot of enthusiasts in this hall. All of us are aspiring to step out in the global world, which is waiting with a lot of opportunities. To start with, I have flickered a slide on the screen, welcoming you all to this session. Something on the screen which makes you think about whatever comes to your mind first by looking at this slide. And I would want some kind of warm participation from your end. And we welcome and encourage that. Out of 60 minutes, even if you take 45 minutes of that, it will make my job easier. Yes, please? There's a face. Okay, fine. Yes, please go ahead. There's a man in the rock and he's using the hammer. Okay, fine. What else? Does that make it more clear and visible to interpret? Or is it still blurred? Sorry? Word. Bird. B-I-R-D. Okay, fine. You can see a bird over there. Fine. What else? Self-carving man. Excellent. That's nearest to what you can interpret. Man in? Okay, great. Oh. Okay. This is the ceiling. This is actually the model. Okay. And this is the man who is trying to carve himself. I think because of the distance, it's difficult to guess, and I apologize for that. I should have made the slide much bigger. But the capacity is huge. Fine, friends, the point here is, this is the chisel, the hammer, the man who is hiding inside the stone and trying to discover himself. Okay? It's a self-discovery. Today we are in the age of technology. We are not into the rock era. We are not into the primitive world. But yes, something is there in each one of us sitting over here trying to discover ourselves. Are you all with me on this point? The lip service of the yes sir is something what is regimented in our Indian system, okay, as we were kids. And kids are certainly much smarter. Day by day, as the generation comes forward, we see they are much smarter than we expect. Okay? I asked the kid by showing him this, what I learned when I was young like you in management. Okay? I just asked a kid, what is this? Because I had learned that when I was like you, 20 years back. One of the faculties showed me this and told, what do you see? So what do you answer? Same example, same history, same story, but the table has turned. Earlier I used to answer, now I'm questioning. So the same answers are expected, isn't it? What do you all and I see? Very good. Completely filled with what? Half with water and half with air. Very good. Shabash. That was what my faculties also told me. Okay, and then the faculty went on and he filled it full. And again he asked, which I am repeating, what do you now see? Come on. I am sure the faculties have passed on the same story till you now. Full glass of water. Do you all agree? Absolutely right. Can I pour more water on this? What will happen? Overflow. Very logical. Correct? Very logical. Now if I have to do something and still more, pour more, what should I do of this? Consume it or empty it? Correct? One of it. It's better I empty it, because if I consume, I will have to take a break in between. A bio break. Fantastic. My first request to all of you for the next 50-55 minutes is that if your glass is full, if your minds are full of knowledge, if you are already saturated, if you are carrying ideas in this hall with which you are going to be preoccupied, please help me in emptying it immediately. Okay? Please help me in emptying immediately, so that you are sitting here with something to accept what I am delivering. Please empty yourselves of all the preoccupations. If you are having any smart gadgets, please put it aside. If you are using some pen, paper, not required. What is required is your presence. If you are going to be present for the next 50-55 minutes, my day will be done. Okay? And I think the topic of today, what BIIB has selected, is learning from corporate leaders. But are you going to grant me my wish? Are you going to grant me my wish? Are you going to make yourselves empty for the next 50-55 minutes, so that whatever is going to be shared is absorbed and received? Only then it is going to be worth 600 hours. 600 man hours is a big money, big value for our time. So let's cheer and toast today to those 600 man hours in this hall, that we are going to really utilize our time and learn something. What we call is the theme of today, learning from corporate leaders. Okay? Going back to the kids story, kids are smart, fast. And a kid went to a sweet shop. Every day he used to pass by the sweet shop. He used to look at the sweet owner, put his hand in the pocket, look at the sweets, and pass by. Just pass by. First day, second day, third day. Every day the sweet owner, the shop owner used to look at this kid. That this boy passes every day at the same time in front of my shop. He puts his hand in the pocket. He looks at the sweets. He looks at me. And he just passes by. On the fourth day, when this is happening, the shop owner looks at the kid very curiously. And he calls the kid to step inside the shop. And he asks the kid, "Hey kid, I see you passing daily. You stop by my shop, you look at the sweets, you look at me and you go. I think you want to buy the sweets. And you put your hand in the pocket, but you are unable to produce the money and buy the sweets. Forget everything, just come inside my shop and take as many sweets as you want. Take as many sweets as you want." 5-year-old kid. Shaish climbs the steps of the shop, goes near the bottle inside which the sweets are kept, looks at it curiously, and tells to the shopkeeper, "Should I take?" Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and just take. Will I have to pay? Forget it, no need to pay. And the kid then tells the shopkeeper, "Why don't you give it to me?" "Oh, you want me to give?" Shopkeeper puts his hand inside the sweet bottle, takes a bunch of sweets. "Take it here, my boy." And the boy takes the sweets in his hands. The boy is very happy. And he walks down the stairs on his way. But the shopkeeper calls him back. "Hey kid, come back here. May I ask you a question?" He says, "Yes, go ahead. Please don't ask the money, but." He said, "You always wanted the sweets. I called you to take the sweets. I offered you the sweets. But why did you ask me to give the sweets?" Simple. The kid says, "If I would have put my hand inside and taken, I would have just got 5 to 6. I would have just got 5 to 6. And now you have given me, look, my hands are full, at least 20 to 25 sweets." Okay? So kids are smart. Okay? And I'm sure there are kids inside you sitting who really want more. Okay? You always have that punchline, "Dil mange more." So are you really keen in wanting more out of your less time? Are you really wanting to break the funda of management, that limited resources, scarce resources, unlimited wants and unlimited desires, huge market opportunities, but because of the resource constraints, we are unable to achieve? Do you really want to break that ice? Do you really want to break that barrier? If you really want, then you have to get back into the kid's shoes and go back to your 5-year-old imaginary creative brain, imaginary creative ideas. Is that what is there in you still? Is that kid still there in you? Are you sure? Let's play a game, because I think this is the third session, isn't it? Right? Second session. So you are still warmed up. You need to beat me in the clapping. Okay? I am going to clap. You need to beat me. You need to defeat me in the speed of the claps. Okay? So how the game goes is, I'll be reproducing certain claps over here, and you need to copy it and paste it and throw it back to me. Are you all ready? Sure? Okay, I'm going to clap, you need to copy and throw it back to me. Okay, there are some anomalies. You need to really copy it totally as a group and paste it back to me. It has to be an identical flow throughout the hall. Okay? I think the first bench will help me as judges. Do you hear one sound or two sound of one clap? When I clap, how many sounds do you hear? The judges in the first row. Now I give the opportunity to the rest. Please copy. How many did you all hear? 3, 4, 3. Multiple in short. Let's play it faster. My hands are paining her. Okay. You are more powerful than me. You are more younger than me. Okay. But what's the fun? What's the fun? One of the kids, when he was back to home from school, he was so thrilled and energized, and he told his parents that I have got a role in the annual day function. I have got a role to play in the annual day function. And the parents are so thrilled about the boy that, wow, a boy is going to play on stage. We need to go on the annual day, we need to cheer him. And the father and the mother, they take turns in taking him every day to the practice. After 6, after 7, they come back early from the offices. They go to the school, they put the boy for the practice. After the practice is over, they bring him back. And this goes on for the whole month. And the great day arrives. And the day the annual function is there, the family is seated in the first row, the father and the mother. And then the play begins. And obviously, whom the parents want to see? They want to see their kid, when he is going to enter, what he is going to do, what dialogue he is going to play, what song, what drama, what dance. And then the parents are sitting in the first row. It's a 3 hours annual day program. And the event starts, the announcements, the plays, the dramas, the dances, everything. And after 3 hours of show, when it is over, the parents are still searching, when did my child come? When did my kid come? He has never come on the stage. What's happened? What's happened? Where is he? And after the program is over, these parents go to the backstage, the green room, and they search for their kid. Where is he? Where were you? We could not see you. We were in the first bench. We were waiting for you to come. And then the kid says that, what a wonderful performance I did. Papa, you didn't see me. What a wonderful performance I did. Mama, you didn't see me. I am so enjoyed. I am so thrilled. My day is made. And today I have done the best performance of my life. He said, but what was your role, beta? Where were you? He said, I was right there in the first row. The parents said, you were supposed to be on the stage. What were you doing in the audience? He said, that was my role. That was my job. My job was, after every event, to clap, clap and clap. To clap, clap and clap, so that the whole hall starts clapping. And I was the first to clap after every event. You didn't notice? But did you hear the claps? They said yes. They were because I was prompting from the first row. And now the parents are shocked and surprised as well. That, is this what you were practicing for 30 days? He said, yes, that was my role. That was my job. Did you enjoy it? Yes, thoroughly I enjoyed it. I have mastered the art of clapping. And the parents are surprised. They are unable to understand what this kid is trying to tell. But friends, this is something which we need to really understand as corporate people. Is the job which I get to do. Is the job which I get to do, given by my boss, is something which is not in my hand as a choice. Isn't it? Do you all agree to this paradigm? The job given to me by my boss is not my choice. It is a requirement of the organization which my boss asks me to perform. I have two options. I do it willingly. The other option is a choiceless option. Forced will, unwillingly. But yes, the people who are able to really get ahead in the corporate world and lead are the people who enjoy their jobs. Whether it is clapping, whether it is dancing, whether it is oration, whether it is a drama, whether it is singing, etc., etc. We all are going to get into certain jobs, whether it's marketing, finance, operations, back office, front office, team lead, business processes, etc., etc. Finance, multiple options. HR, multiple options. Marketing, multiple options. But what do the corporate leaders bring to the table? They bring in a lot of experience, which is sometimes invaluable. And if you take this, somewhere you have the chance to reduce your time span of life and cover the journey faster. Cover the journey faster. If you are sick, tell me if you are sick. If you have ill health and you go to the doctor and the doctor gives you a prescription, when would you take those pills? When would you take those pills? When? As prescribed by the doctor, after lunch, afternoon, after dinner. What would happen if you do not take those pills on the first day? Not? You will not get the results, correct? Your health will keep as it is. It may deteriorate. Second day, if you do not take, what will happen? Further. Third day, fourth day, 10th day, blah, blah, blah. So, if you want to get cured, you go to the doctor, you take the prescribed pills, you get rid of the diseases. Correct? But if you do not, you stay ill. So the choice is your friends, is the corporate world, the corporate leaders are here to share valuable experience. If you take, you can get well soon. In short, you can take those experiences, crunch in and make something out of it and utilize it, apply it and become a better leader than what we are today. What took us 20 years, you can just do it in a day, in an hour, because that is what value is coming over to you. By the way, this is what India Inc. talent pool is all about. Okay? This is what we are all about. Look at the big figure of 1.2 billion or more, growing day by day. The Indian population of talent. Out of that, what is an individual like me? An invisible dust particle. An invisible dust particle on a mountain of a billion plus population. Each one of us. We just share 0.000000001% of India's talent population. And out of that, our expectations are phenomenal. Isn't it? We all have huge expectations. We want to grow, we want to have wealth, we want to have fame, we want to have be on the board, we want to be the CEOs, we want to be the heads. What are the chances of success? What are the chances of success when we are just such a small percent of the whole talent pool? And who are your competitors? Half of them are your competitors. 50% of the India's population is going to compete with you. All those who are in the 25 age bracket. And more than you. There is a senior talent pool up to 35 years. 65% of the Indian population is there who is ahead of you. So how are you going to compete? How are you going to be there? Do you have the roadmap? Do you have the blueprint? Do you have a ladder which will get you there? What can be the answer to this question? Does anybody have an answer to this question? Is what will get you there? Hard work, skills, what else? Passion, what else? Go ahead, I am listening. Please. Attitude, first class. A plus T and 100. Huh? A plus T plus T plus I plus T plus U plus D plus E 100. Everybody knows it. Fine. What else? What else? Come on. Attitude, hard work, skills, passion, lot of sleep, slumber, knowledge. Okay, fine. What more? Determination, shabash. Experience, learning on job. Fine. Discipline, dedication. Okay, in short, you have the A to Z vocabulary of success, I think. Okay, even if everybody interprets the A to Z of success vocabulary, I think yes, you all have the wares. You all have the hardwares to succeed. What is then the gap? Why do you require? Why do you need some people to come over here on stage and deliver some things? When you have all these A to Z wares of success with you. Do you all use deodorants and perfumes? Obvious, isn't it? It's a daily lifestyle. Okay. Why do we use it? To refresh, huh? Okay, how many of us use the deos and perfumes every day morning after a shower, after a bath, after dressing up? Can I have a raise of hands? I'm not going to sell, I'm not doing any survey. Okay, but I think majority of us do. Is it silly or is it hygiene or is it a matter of lifestyle? I'm not questioning that. But let me ask you a very, very genuine question. Do you need a deo? Do you need a perfume? After having a bath, after having cleaned yourself, after smelling fresh, do you really need it? Do you really need it? But still we use. Because somebody historically founded it, invented it and brought it to the market and sold it. But the root cause of it, how it was discovered, invented and brought, is something which you should know. Do you know the story of it? If you know it, please tell. If you don't tell, or if you say no, I don't want to do a crime by generalizing that so many people don't know the story of Dio. It may be my assumption. But since you accepted, let me tell, it is a very simple thing. It started in the Americas, where people had hours to travel by and could not get the spots where they could clean themselves or refresh themselves, and discipline which is there in your college. Okay? You're all going through that along with your MBA curriculum. We really need to understand this if we are learners. If you are really a person who wants to learn, you need to understand this. Okay? You are an investor, friends. You are an investor today. You are investing 2 years of your precious life, lakhs of rupees, in a hope that you will get something. And that is what all the campus placements heads and committees come to market, to the corporates. And that is like selling a DO. You're selling your services and products without the why. Are you all with me? Yes, we as corporates do utilize talent. And what you sell is something, what are features of deodorants, features of perfumes. This is the brand, these are the contents, this is the packaging, this is the fragrance, this is the size, and please buy. But you need to delve really deep within a corporate is why should we buy? What are our needs? What is it that you should be bringing to a corporate so that you become a need to us? Are you there to satisfy this corporate need really at a very, very personal level? The institutions, the campuses, the educational system is there as a complement to give you all the infrastructure, knowledge, faculties, grades, certificates, development programs so that you become a better product. But it's like the glass story. If you are there to receive, you may reach from here to here. But if you are in the state, what I feel from over here, okay, is something which you really need to open up, become more receptive, and try to throw more questions as why. Okay. How many of us have really asked ourselves is, why do I need to learn? Why should I be learning? Yes? Why should you be learning? Whether it is academics, whether it is through seminars, or whether it is through self-reading, through projects. Yeah, any brave answers? Learning is a process. What more? To do things in better manner. Fantastic. What else? To be systematic. To earn. That is just copy pasting. What more? It enhances your knowledge. But have you ever thought in a different way? It's continuous, fine, it's a process. You need to learn to earn. You have been learning all the time. Have you thought of it differently? Have you sometimes thought, yeah, go ahead, I am asking all of you. Have you sometimes thought differently about learning? To get a competitive edge over others, whatever. Okay. Let me take the basic premise of assumption that we are all learned for X years, whether it is 10 plus 2 plus 3 plus 2. Okay, you are all into your PGs. So nearly 17 years of education is already there in you. And what this has created within us. Okay, all the knowledge, all the theories, all the experiences which are within us is something which is your asset. It's your domain knowledge. Moving forward, how much of it is what you're going to apply to achieve your goals of becoming successful people? In becoming successful people, how this learning affects and creates a box which we call a mental model and obstructs us from growing and developing is the point I have come here to make today. We are talking of all our learning boxing us and putting us in a mind frame whereby we operate from, whereby we act, take the decisions and either succeed or fail. Okay? The decision is what drives. Are you all oriented 100% towards success? Are you all oriented towards success? How do successful people behave then? How do they behave? Have you done any case studies or researches on successful people's life stories? Give me one or two models. Who are your inspirers? Who are your role models? Yes? Warren Buffett. What else? Sorry? Okay, great. Stock market. What more? Ratan Tata, fantastic. What else? Namo, very good. How can you emulate them? Can you emulate them? Can you practice what they've done in life? What do you do? Tell me one concrete thing which you do in your life to become like your role model, whoever it is. Yeah, but what do you do? See, this is the basic difference. Please, take the call now. Take the call now. When we ask you a question in an interview, a very, very simple question, okay, is why should we hire you? Are you all with me? Yes, why should we hire you? What was my question? Before that, my question was, what is a concrete action you emulate from your role model? What was the answer? Somebody give an answer. That's what. Look at the question and look at the answer. The question is, what concrete action do you copy from your role model or you emulate? And the answer is, we copy the action. Now, those who really want to succeed, evaluate this answer. Evaluate this answer. So when we ask you, why should we hire you? What do you answer? What do you sell to us? What do you tell us? Just like the same answer. I ask you an action, you tell me we copy the behaviors. Is that an action? How many of you wake up at 4 a.m.? Fantastic. And what do you do? I think the college is having a ritual. Every day 6 a.m. prarthana. Correct? But my friends, those who are having role models in life and they are just autobiographies or stories to you for an intellectual thrill, then those role model stories are not really helping you. Okay? Unless you are practicing or implementing one of the practices in their lives which they have done, unless you are copying and pasting that activity in your life, that thrill story is only going to be a read and trashed story. Are you all with me? So please, can I re-request and ask the question, is one of the action which you concretely play in your life of your role model? Can I get a solid answer for that? One concrete action of your role model which you are implementing in your personal life. Sorry? Go ahead, come on. Take a risk. Again, can you give me something which is very, very concrete? Now, do you want me to tell the answer paper as well? Take a risk, strong willpower. What else? Hard work. Please understand my question. We are not asking for adjectives of your role models. We are not asking the attributes and qualities of your role models. Again, putting back to the track, why we hire you. If you tell because of your hard work, because of your risk-taking appetite, because of the skills, what is the difference between you and the other 500? You repeat the same answer. Is there any concrete action which you have told me that this is what I practice from Warren Buffett or Narendra Modi or Lincoln or Gandhi or whoever is your role model? Let's pause, let's pause for 1 minute. Just pause for a minute in your life and introspect over here. The people who have succeeded, people who are successful, they are highly action-oriented people. And their actions are something which deliver the results. If you want to be result-oriented, if you really want to become successful, at least while reading these role model stories, identify what are the actions. Let me give you one example. Randy Pausch. Have you heard of this name? Great. You all know about his story. No. That's even great. In short, Randy Pausch has written a book, The Last Lecture. World-class book. He's the author. It is his own story. Fine. Maybe he is the only man who delivered the last lecture. The theme of this book, The Last Lecture, is it is done at Dale Carnegie Mellon University, and the faculties are invited over there to give a lecture as if it was their real last lecture in life. So they come prepared with all the learnings, all the khajana, all the treasure of their learnings and deliver it to the people. Now Randy Pausch was diagnosed with 12 tumors in his liver. He was having pancreatic cancer and he just had a restricted life of 6 to 7 months to live. And he had committed this lecture. And he delivered this lecture which was really his last lecture. Okay. Now as a living example, Randy Pausch is a role model of commitment. You are committed to deliver, you deliver. That's all. The university and the students are not there to hear your story, whether you are having cancer or whether you are having a limited life, whether you are prepared or not prepared, but you have given a date and a time, you need to be present and speak about your experiences. And he really delivered. Okay. Now from this, what do I learn as a person? I learn as a person is the concrete action I need to take in my daily life is the commitment of my time to the people whom I call to offices. In my meetings, I need to deliver. Whether it is an interview, it is a business meeting, it's a presentation, a report making, and we are working at international global level. ETG is a global organization, 40 different countries, scattered, and it is only the communication which works in the organization. Purely trust-based, timely deliveries of whatever you are committed to your counterparts. This is what actions I take from Randy Pausch and I implement. And that is what makes a difference in my deliveries and results. So coming back, can one of you, one of the brave hearts from this Balaji Institute of Business, International Business, come forward and really give me one concrete example in your personal life which you are implementing of your role model? Colonel Bala Subramaniam does it. He is a doer. He is a visionary director, just not the director. He is a visionary implementer, not just a visionary. He is something what my chairman is doing, and therefore I can relate it very, very clearly. There is a big difference between people who are visionaries and who are executive visionaries. He is an executive visionary. So are you an executive visionary yourself? Or you are just a visionary who dreams, who talks, but unable to implement and do? Come on, somebody raise the hand here. Come up. Yes, of course. Come fast, man, you are younger. Take the mic. You just have 30 seconds because that is the time you are taking from me.
Hello, sir. My role model is Larry Ellison. He's the CEO of Oracle Database and Corp. And he's my role model just because he's more committed towards his professional life rather than personal life. Because in the past 4 decades, 4 women comes into his life, and he had 3 divorces. And with every divorce, his profit margin goes up. And so what I found, he's more committed toward his professional life rather than personal life.
First row judges, how much marks? Please take your seat. Thank you, friend. First row judges. How much? First row are the judges, boys, please. They are privileged to be the judges because they are seniors. You will also get the chance after some years. Yes, please. How much marks do you give according to the question if he has answered out of 10? Yes, gentlemen. 0 on 10 by my fraternity colleague from HR. Do you have a minus marking system? If I give you the privilege to give minus marks, how much minus will you give? Minus 5 out of plus 10. Anybody else want to give a moderated rating? Please. Marks, madam, out of 10. A scale of minus 5 to 10, how much would you score him on the answer? Okay, somebody else, please. Experience needs to be bato, yaar. Come on, seniors. Okay. Marks. चलो अभी पब्लिक से मार्क्स बोलो. Self feedback, self appraisal. 10 on 10. If you are sure 10 on 10, just clap for him. Shabash. Great applause. But wonderful failure in life, in interview, in selection, in result. This is the dilemma, boys. This is the dilemma. Please pause here. This is not a feedback or an interview situation. This is just course correcting ourselves with the help of a compass. Just course correct yourself. If you really need to learn, is answer according to the question. What my friend said here is 0 or minus 5 is just a number for us to understand that if we are going to take care of ourselves and respond to a question, get a hang of the question correctly. If you need to reproduce the question, reconfirm what you understood. And then if you answer, there are more chances that you would answer it correctly. I gave an example. Okay. But yes, this is the catch. The catch of an MBA tag is something which we need to uncover and unfold. There's a young smart MBA graduate who passed out from a foreign university, and yes, he got the best job and he got a beautiful perquisite. He's driving in his car with his laptop connected to the Wi-Fi system, navigating across, passing by the green farms on a 8-lane highway road. And some business strikes his mind. He sees a farm full of cattle, a farmer over there, and he thinks a business idea has come in his mind. Gets down of the car, takes his system, calls the farmer and tells the farmer, "Hey farmer, come over here. If I can exactly tell you from these cattle how many bulls and how many cows you have, will you give me what I want?" The farmer is not much amazed, but just for a challenge, he takes the challenge and He tells, okay, what do you want? He says that if from this cattle I can tell you how many cows you have, how many bulls you have, how many liters of milk every day you produce, will you give me your dog as a free gift? Will you give me your dog? He says, okay, fine, go ahead. And then this young MBA, he operates his laptop, he connects to the satellites and he takes the photographs and he gets everything on the screen and he does his calculations. And after 4 hours, he generates a big printout from the system and he does his 30-page report and puts the last page as his MIR. That look, farmer, in this huge plot of land you are having exactly 473 cattle, okay, out of which you have 273 cows and the remaining 200 are bulls. And these 273 cows give you approximately 390 gallons of milk every day. The farmer says, okay, you're right, go ahead. Okay, fine, if it is right, give me the dog. Can I have my dog? Okay, fine, go ahead. And now he is won, the MBA guy has won his prize, he is taking his possession and he is going back. And the farmer calls him, hey guy, wait, come over here. If I tell you who you are, will you return the gift back to me? Now this guy is amazed, decked up in a suit, in a boot, with his laptop, beautiful car. He says, I am coming first time in this area, and how come this guy can know who I am? I myself am a stranger in this territory, and I am seeing this guy for the first time. It's impossible that he can recognize who I am. Okay. And this guy tells that, look, you are the political representative of this party and you are going to stand for the elections in the next round. And this guy is amazed and shocked that how come this guy knows my identity, that I am doing all this. The farmer says, it's very simple. It's very, very simple. But first, give me my prized possession back. He gives back the dog. Now the farmer says, hey, look, guy, how I identified you is very simple. First of all, you came and introduced me a question. You asked me something which I already knew. You asked me something which I already knew. For that answer also, you asked a gift from me. Okay? Which you don't know what it is. And for whatever calculations you have done by taking all this time and generating a report is something which I do every day without that technology, without that report, without that forecast, without that planning, without that technology. And such things can be only done by political people like you who come and market to us the same things what we know. And therefore, please give me my calf back. That's not a dog. You don't know even a difference between a dog and a calf. So friends, after getting this fantastic degree, the difference between an MBA who is taking up a huge economical job and a farmer is that the farmer knows the ground reality of his business. We as MBAs want to add value or do something great without knowing the ground reality, without knowing the real question is what value I want to add to this is something which is what we need to really clear. If we take this opportunity and really get into the corporate world and take these very, very simple steps, then we can make our goal come closer to us. What are these simple steps? Okay. What is the simplest step you can take today? Can you take one action today? Just one bold action in your life which is going to change the course of the results which you want to achieve. Somebody said Abdul Kalam is a role model. What exactly is a role model for? We all know he is the topmost nuclear scientist of India. He produced Agni. He has now produced BrahMos. Okay? But how can you model him? What is the takeaway from him? How can you emulate him as a great corporate leader? As a leader who has taken India ahead and put India in the developing country to developed country category. How do you emulate him? Do you know in the last 50 years, Mr. Kalam has never watched a single movie? How many of you have watched Kick? Great. So do you want to follow Kalam? Or do you want a kick? Choice is yours, boys. It is the choices which you take will make your life. If you choose to spend your time for 3 hours in a mall or in a movie hall, imagine the career you are heading ahead for. All the learning which you want to implement in getting your hard earnings come back as a return goes down the drain. It is the choice which you are going to make. The choice between prosperity and disparity. So do you want to move out of this box? Do you want to really move out of the box, which is your old learning, which is something which is very, very hazy? Even simple questions become difficult to understand while answering them back. Are you all with me? Yes, are you all willing to do that? Do you have some old ideas? Do you have some old habits which you really need to change today and become more powerful and confident as a person and become somebody who is great and dynamic? When you talked about different leaders, there are so many success stories. So many. I think every great leader is a success story. And there is a huge market for you. Okay? There's a huge market for you. This is what India Inc. has to tell about the talent pool for all of us. Is yes, the opportunity for you is enormous. 80% people in the leadership positions feel that they are unable to identify the right leaders for their organizations to grow. The KPMG report statistics. And 70% of the people feel that yes, there are no successors who can take the organizations forward. So the slots are available for you. Are you ready for it? If you are ready for it, then this is a formula derived from the field of finance. Everybody is measuring this today. What is the deviation? What is the variance? What is the gap? Are you there to fulfill the expectations of the organization? Key result areas, goals, your own competence. Are you going to come in the variance category as a red mark to the company and justify it as well, saying that I could not achieve my goals because of A, B, C constraints? Or are you going to implement your role models' actions? Because your role models are your role models only because they have always been beyond expectations. They have always surpassed the expectations of the people who had the expectations from them and their own as well. You take any role model. They are the people who actually delivered beyond the expectations of the world. And yes, they made stories. They are histories. Gates Foundation today, Bill Gates is a history. Started miserably, failed by starting Traf-O-Data, a traffic tape reading company. But yes, he became a role model today because he implemented hard work as his lifestyle. We all know about this great man who was not even able to speak for his childhood times. His questions were so amazing that the teachers used to shy away from even answering him. And yes, that's what the generations which create histories are all about. Can you imagine a child asking you a question? What is the spelling of A? Do you know it? It's not a word, boy. It's a word. So what's the spelling of A? Is what kids ask me. Every week I attend at least 200 kids. And these are the questions in the minds of kids. They belong to this category. They are the Einsteins and the Newtons and the Edisons this world has. Abstract thinking, high quotient of intelligence, awaiting to be unleashed. Edison failed 10,000 times. Lincoln failed 17 times. The world is full of people who have failed, but please introspect back into the actions which they have taken. If these people are your role models, then look what they have done. If you profess hard work, how many of us are ready to fail 10,000 times? I have failed personally in my career. I know what is the cost of failure. 1 full year of repetitive studies, lot of rejections from home, family and society, but yes, that is the cream year of life which takes you through the downturn, and if you bounce back, you reach heights. Isn't he a person whom the whole world acknowledges? But look at the struggle of the life. Years and years, so many plots of getting him killed, but he is a model of perseverance. If perseverance is the quality which you admire from Mandela as a role model, how much of perseverance am I practicing every day? Is the question I need to introspect and ask. Failing 5 times and going broke before inventing the automobile. Today Ford is a great leader in the automobile industry. This is a wonderful case study. Honda. Soichiro Honda. Again, he was, as an engineer, when he applied for interviews, he did not get the job. He was jobless. So turning from joblessness to putting up a great company today. This is the pinnacle and height of success. J.K. Rowling, a lady who kept writing Harry Potter, got getting rejected, but yes, the great determination she had is what we are seeing today as movies, and she earns huge money as royalty today. Unfit for her TV job, she was rejected, an abusive childhood, but Oprah Winfrey has become a great success as a TV model. So how do you become successful? Or how did they become successful? Are we ready for it? Then you have to challenge, boys. You really have to challenge is what got you here till now. It's not going to get you forward. And therefore, why do we find it so difficult even to emulate and implement one attribute of the great man or the great woman we admire and bring it into our personal life? Why do our resolutions fail? Why we do not do the things which we just need to do? What holds us back? What is the lever which puts us into action? Management is all about spot actions. It is about spot decisions. It is about spot actions. It is about self-empowerment. It is about accountability, taking responsibility, and becoming an authority in your field. If you really wanted to be successful, if you want to become the role models whose pictures you have just seen before, yes, I have 5 more minutes. I agree to that. You are right? Thanks. What's the formula for growth? I have just 5 minutes and I commit to that and I land in that time. Simple formula, expense minus income is profit. You are all here for growth. What is the formula? Whisperings is not the answer. We have to see a bold, brave man who will stand up and say, this is the answer. I would give up my position for him. Please speak aloud. What's the answer? What? Hard work minus failures. What else? Yes, please. Patience plus hard work. Fantastic. You have some paradigms, you have some things. But yes, this is also something which is most difficult to do, but the right thing to do. Okay. Whatever formulas you have, I agree to it fully. Please put it to practice. Practice is something from your existing behaviors. Just remove all the bad behaviors and you will become a superstar. And these are all hidden bad behaviors. I am not saying that you are smokers or drinkers, not those bad habits. Yes, of course, those are the visible ones which you need to remove to grow up in the corporate life. But there are so many others like gossiping, wasting your time, wandering around, not answering the right questions rightly, etc. is something which you need to eliminate, and you need to interpret something which is written in red. This has to be very, 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 very strong in you if you want to become a corporate leader. Can you interpret that word? What is written in red? UEHRGN. Shabash. That hunger has to be there. That hunger has to be there. The difference between your appetite after a 6 days of fast or 30 days of fast and after your morning breakfast having lunch is a big difference. If your lunch after breakfast in the afternoon, your appetite level, and the appetite after 6 days of fast, or those who do 30 days of fast, whatever fast capacities you have, the hunger is the differentiator. The biggest differentiator between a successful person and an unsuccessful person is this. If you are hungry, nothing can stop you from becoming successful. The question is, how deep is this hunger? Okay? Is it this deep? Honda in 2011-12, they were just producing 16 lakh bikes, having 10% of market share. This great man, just in the last 4 years, is multiplying it and taking it up to 30% market share by expanding the capacities. How? This is his hunger. As the head of the business, he is implementer. He is implementing this, not just professing or preaching. Going to the place, seeing the objects, and taking the decision on the basis of real life situation. They call it GQ formula. But yes, these are all techniques, these are all methods. He is an implementer and therefore he is able to turn around Honda into a 30% market share, which is his plan for 2014-15. Amazing! I am sure you all would have gone through the success story of the Dabbawalas. Are you ready to take one concrete action from their lives and implement? They influence us so much to become punctual and timely that we are only happy talking about them as role models. Can we become implementers of timeliness by taking this great corporate example of Dabbawalas and emulate success and become a leader like them? Is the question. Answer is in your hands. Amazing, a hungry man, Dr. G. Venkataswamy, who only has a free-for-all hospital catering to the poorest section as his vision, is able to do it by creating hospitals across India and wanting to do eye surgeries, His average doctor's eye surgeries are 2,000 in a year. Arvind Eye Care Hospital's eye surgeons do 2,000 eye operations every year compared to just 125 operations a year of an American doctor. This is the power of action and implementation. The world's youngest doctor is an Indian. At the age of 17, Bala Murali Ambati became the world's youngest doctor. He too is an eye surgeon. Youngest CEO, Suhas Gopinath, at the age of 14, established Global Inc. These are all successful role models. Narayan Murthy, J.R.D. Tata. But the choice is ours. The choice is ours. The biggest differentiator, successful, and the rest, hunger, deep, concrete actions to be implemented, knowledge at its level, experience at its level, but the day-to-day dynamism which needs to be brought in as a big change in our personal lives is how we are going to take those bold actions. Do is the mantra. Do is the only mantra. All our management is going to teach us theories, fundamentals, and models to succeed. But in that, what at the ground works, at the grassroots level works, is the do formula. Take actions. You may fail 10,000 times. Do your job. You may not get appraised or rewarded or incentivized. But yes, the people who have the courage to do, just like the boy who did his job of clapping, was enjoying his work, succeeded, felt happy, salaries, rewards, incentives, increments, promotions are all a follow-through byproduct. They all follow. And all these successful people who are CEOs or great people who are doing philanthropy at the top of the pyramid, things have followed them. Okay? Only because they took actions, they did hard work, they did perseverance, they had the will, but they implemented the will. So do is the mantra, and I wish you all the best to do, take actions and decisions in life. If you are learning today, take those values and start implementing, and I am sure you will get success as a byproduct. Thank you very much for your time. Thanks.